Morning, buenos dias. It's a beautiful day today. Gorgeous. It's about 70 right now. I don't think it's gonna get any hotter. I haven't filmed for a while. I've been busy buttoning up my gardens. I have this cute little stand that my aunt gave to me and I built it. This is a little holding pen for some flowers I still have to plant out. I'm trying to put in some natives in my garden, some more natives. This is our native St. John's wort. This is little blue stem here. And this plant I forgot to label, but I have to find out what it is. That's why I haven't planted it up yet, because I still don't know what conditions it needs. It's still kind of wet. This is recao, and this is the herb that we use, Puerto Ricans use for the recaito. It's culantro. It's another name for it. There's another name for it too as well. Some sort of coriander, but I chopped it back so it wouldn't start to flower. Basil, some strawberries, a little tomato plant, and this is eucalyptus, something like that. Not eucalyptus, licorice. I don't know, one of those. Anyway, it's an annual. I also bought it at the Rutgers plant sale. I bought the natives at the Rutgers plant sale. I set up this little stand here. Just one flower per pot. A lot of these, this one had some root rot. We've had crazy weather and I purchased my annuals way too early. And so I was busy, bringing them inside, covering them up. And sometimes I was good about it. Other times I did it. And with the rain, some of these just rotted. I think this still has some life in it. So I'm going to keep that one and see what happens. This I cut back. I think that's lamium. Yeah, so little annual section there. So my grass needs to be cut. I don't cut my own grass. The guys, I don't know, they disappeared. The guys, they come whenever they want. No schedule with me. Anyway, that's one of the things I've delegated, is mowing the lawn. Those things that I decided that I wasn't going to worry about. Got some more containers here. That's Senecio, Celosia, and Petunia from Proven Winners that I ordered way too early, and so I cut it back because it was getting leggy. There's the same Petunia here. Same setup. This is some Elysium that self-seeds now. I have it all over the yard. I think it's beautiful. It self-seeds even in the cracks. Isn't that pretty? Some alliums. Yeah, a lot of this stuff is, I don't know, it's shriveling up. Let's go to these are the projects I'm working on. Still trying to figure out, I still haven't committed to planting these boxwoods here. Thinking about putting something else and using the boxwood someplace else. I need to move. I was supposed to do it in the fall and I didn't move this Japanese maple to a shadier place. But with the rains, look what happened. Look at that. A tree. So I think that actually the position of that tree there is going to give this plant a little bit more shade, and it might survive this summer, the summer heat. And then in the fall, I'll move it because it's really, I thought it would be shaded, but it gets sun here from this angle up here. And so I'm gonna have to move it to a shadier spot. Things I'm learning about Japanese maples. Unless they have lots of water, they have a solid, continual source of water, they do not like the heat. And so this section here I'm working on, as you see, I put some cardboard. I'm gonna put another planter. I got this planter at Ocean State Job Lot, which is the same one as that one. I just haven't built it yet. And I haven't put anything in here yet because I'm slowly working on this. This was a raspberry, a Latham raspberry that I had planted in this pot on the ground, and it just went all the way. The roots were everywhere. So, I mean, it went crazy. It went through the bottom of the drainage holes into the ground and spread everywhere. So I took everything up and I planted these main canes here, but this weather has been crazy. It was like raining so much this last week, which was great because before that it was drought conditions and it hit like 90 for like a whole weekend while I was away in May. I didn't think I would need to worry about that in May, but I didn't take care of my plants, and so they suffered, as you can see. I still have some life in it, so I might just cut it back. Yeah, and I threw away all the babies. I mean, that sucker, so yeah, these are the beds I'm trying to create here. I'm going to put in some flowers and vegetables in this section. I might put another evergreen right here. So the plan is to, let me back this up here. All right, so the plan is to have raised bed, some sort of evergreen or tree, and then raised bed, and then underneath the tree I could plant some annuals, and the raised beds I could put vegetables, fruit, whatever, like edibles, and maybe even some flowers. My these raised beds here, what do I have in here? I have some onions, some carrots, some chives, keeping it simple. This lettuce is starting to shrivel. I already picked at it. I don't know if it's going to grow some more leaves, but I already ate some of that lettuce. It self-seeded from last year. That's black seeded Simpson. And I've got hardneck garlic for the first time, which I think it's time to harvest it. I'm not sure. They said if the flowers, if it's, obviously that one's flowering, and I had no control over it. It has to do with the weather, so I'm going to let that one flower. And I read someplace that I could get the little seeds and plant them and get scapes. So they said if the scapes start curling or straightening up, that it's time to harvest. But I think these scapes haven't even started curling. I'm not sure. This is the first time I work with hardneck garlic. I tried softneck garlic one year, planted it too late, and I got some sad looking garlic bulbs. But then I was able to use the scapes. There's some more onions. The onions are the Red Baron onions. There we go. There's a carrots coming up, and this is my collection of weeds right here, which I have to clear up. I haven't bothered because it's just other weeds are going to take over, and I haven't had time to deal with this. So until I'm ready to deal with this, you know, these weeds are not super bad. There's a lot of clover, and I think those are evening primrose, I think. I don't know. I'll pull them up eventually. It looks like I have a potato coming out from the side. I don't know. So again, I need to mow this badly. I'm going to call the guys today. This section I have my little compost bin, some daylilies, geranium, hardy geranium, crocosmia. This is a coral colored, like a coral rose. What are these called again? Those bush roses. Very hard, very good. Yarrow. I have two junipers, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. The creeping junipers. I have two, one here, one in the back. That's for some winter interest, and I have a daylily in the middle. I have these Schubertii alliums, which I let dry out, and I can use them in, you know, as ornaments on my tree during Christmas. They're really pretty. I have a little grouping of boxwood in the back over there, just taking up space. That's a purple coneflower coming up. I think this one is too. I just planted this little baby lamb's ear. I'm trying to get some sort of blue color in this section, and this girl needs to be cut back hard. But she's okay for now. This is a storm cloud Artemisia. When it's in bloom, it looks really pretty because I have the purple little flowers, and then I have, the blue flowers and the purple alliums. It looks so beautiful. Obsession Andina, and back here I have a Japanese anemone in the shade. You know, it takes a while. This is Kaleidoscope Abelia that I had to cut back hard because it died on me. It's coming back. So yeah, daffodil foliage. This is Rise Up Embrace Rose. I have two of them. They're proven winners. They're still babies. I planted them last year. My irises are gone. These are the bearded irises. I cut back most of the flowers. There's a few left here. I planted some lavender. I don't know. I don't know why. Lavender does well in my front yard, but back here, I thought the conditions were similar, but I don't think they are. This is another Rise Up and Braise rose. Look at that color. And here I have a couple more natives. This again, I forgot what it was. And I've looked on Plant Idea. I have to ask the Master Gardener people what I bought here, because I forgot to take photos of the descriptions. But this is like sort of a ground cover type plant, and I have it covered because I'm afraid that the guys who come help me out will whack it thinking it's a weed. This is a native penstemon, and I have another lavender that I just planted a few days ago, last week. Clematis on this vine. I took out the hydrangeas that were here and I put a Weigelia. That's Wine and Roses. My neighbor's evening primrose. Those are definitely evening primrose. This is a hydrangea. This is a limelight that I replanted from the other side because it wasn't getting enough sun. Here it gets, you know, like it gets a little obviously shade from this tree, but in the middle of the day it gets full sun. These are the columbine that self-seed here, and these are the common milkweed that self-seed here as well. So with the common milkweed, and there's something growing here that I don't know what it is. What is that? Anyway, with the milkweed, like I don't like it, but I know it's great for the butterflies. So I keep this little batch here. Let me pull back so you can see the little batch here of common milkweed. So this whole section I sort of just let self-seed and do its own thing. It loves this. I mean, between the columbine and the milkweed and the daylilies, it's doing okay. I even planted a lupin here. These are little baby spirea, and I have these covered because, you know, the rabbits eat them when they're babies. These are the heuchera. Yeah, and the rabbits like to eat the babies. More columbine. I think that's a weed. Let's see. Yeah, I think this is bindweed. And on this pretty iris. All right. So, yeah, tons and tons of common milkweed, which also serve as a trap plant for aphids, just so you know. Aphids love this plant. And I have, this is from root. This guy has taken forever to grow, and this is hellebore. That's back there. All right. My lilac tree that I still haven't taken down, it's starting to bush out. I cut back some old stems, just sort of leaving it there. I don't like the milkweed in the front of the border, but they sprout wherever they want, so I'm sort of leaving these guys here. More milkweed with the hostas and the daylilies. This is another Proven Winners hydrangea, and she supposedly likes the sun, but you see her little burnt edges. Yeah, she's not crazy about the sun. You got to be careful with these plants, you know, especially with this harsh weather we're getting. Some of these plants that say full sun or part sun, I think this area is part sun. It's a lie. It's all a lie. You need to put a little bit more shade, because come July, especially in New Jersey, it is crazy hot and brutal and dry. More hostas. Look how pretty my hostas are. Ooh, so pretty. These little primrose. That's from the spring. And this is a tiny Steed's holly that I've been nursing for years. These I bought from Spring Hill Nursery, and these are old hydrangeas that I planted, like old-fashioned hydrangeas, to challenge myself. This is Amazon, And what happened was with the crazy snow and cold, it basically died. It's coming back from the bottom. And I fenced it in. In the winter, I think I have to cover it. Oak leaf hydrangea that I planted last year. This one is the snowflake. Oak leaf hydrangea. This is limetta. Came back nicely. This area gets lots of shade, so we're good. And we're gonna get to my project over there. Steed's holly that had died and it's coming back. And this baby here is another little quick fire hydrangea paniculata. Also proven winners. These guys I got from Southern Living. This was the I forget what these are called. Sunshine something or the other. Anyway, we have these native violets that grow here. I leave them. The guys that are working here just got here. Let's see. More natives in here. These are native anemones, and these are the Pennsylvania sedge. These guys, what I was saying about this was that it needs shade. I forget what it's called. I forgot the name of that plant. This same thing happened to this one. Kimono big leaf, died back. It's coming up from the bottom. I'm working on this here. This is a pathway, which I think it should have been curved, but they're using these square. I went cheap. So note to self. If you go cheap, this is what happens. I didn't want to spend a lot of money on materials, and the stepping stones are sort of expensive. So I decided to go with these square. I was like, it's just thinking for utility purposes, utilitarian, just, stepping stones. So they're doing a square because of the shape, which sort of creates this angle here, which is strange, which doesn't go with the curve here. But whatever, it's supposed to come to my greenhouse. Hola, ¿cómo está? ¿Ya empezaron a trabajar? Sí, okay. Okay.
Te quería hacer una pregunta sobre un palito que está allá.
Sí.
¿Ese palito tú quieres que lo siembre ahí mismo?
Lo voy a sembrar ahí mismo, pero si quiere le doy un sitio donde... Le doy un de esto para que lo ponga mientras tanto.
Okay.
Ok, ¿se lo doy? Ok. Un momentito. Aquí yo tengo varios. Momentito. So where was I? So like I said, I use these pavers. They're a little bit less expensive. They're not cheap, let me tell you, but they're still less expensive than other types of pavers. So I'm planning this walkway. And so I have this mess here I gotta take care of. That's my cotoneaster that I had in the front yard. So let me show you what I want to do for the front yard. Let's take a look here at the penstemon. Look at that. That's onyx and lace. When I record like this, I feel like such a weirdo. It sounds like I'm talking to myself, which I guess I am. Yeah, this is a side yard. I haven't done anything here. That old-fashioned hydrangea I'm going to pull out. I'm just done with them, both of them. I'm going to put some more modern hydrangeas. I think I want this one, which I took out of a pot and I replanted. I think it's still alive. I don't know if it's going to grow back. I think it's growing from the bottom. But that's the summer something or the other hydrangea. There's another Japanese anemone. So I have native anemones and these Japanese anemones I planted a few years ago. Hosta's looking fabulous. I planted some petunias. Goes my alliums. And spirea. I think that looks so good. Check this out. This lady, this lace leaf Japanese maple is doing well. knockout roses. That's what they're called. That's the pink one in the backyard. I have the coral one. But doesn't that look nice? This lighting here is not great, but the color of the jazz hands loropetalum, the alliums, and the spirea, and the ligustrum back there that formed into little trees. Little by little, I'm making them into little, sort of a tree screening. Looks really nice. This guy is getting huge, and basically what's happening is between this one and this barberry, they're creeping up against my cryptomeria. So that's what's happening down there. So I have to be careful. I'm going to kill my plant. I limbed up my red twig dogwood, variegated, so that you can see because I have, during the spring, I have narcissus that have daffodils here. So now I have I keep on saying I'm going to move these guys, but they're really great for the summer. They're great for edges, the daylilies. Okay. These are my mums that come back every year. Asters and dianthus. These are annual petunias. Those are the bubblegum from Proven Winners. This is a Proven Winners rose as well. This is At Last. All right, so let me show you the front yard, which is the reason I started recording this. I got Alas Construction working with me. They're the ones that did this walkway, and they're doing my health strip. So I sort of regret using the stone in the front. I wanted something a little bit more natural, but it's okay, whatever. It's already done, so whatever. I'll work with what I got. And I already, signed the contract and everything. But I'm planning to do all majority natives here. So I already have a cotoneaster, and I have the little blue stem. I'm going to do some flowers and try to get some more creeping juniper here in the front, in these pockets. Because the health strip, which is always a mess, but this creeping juniper does really well. So this is kind of the look I'm going for. The majority with a few perennials. This is a hardy salvia right there. And then we're going to have more of these green, evergreen ground covers, some native grasses, native shrubs. I'm going to put the native St. John's wort out here. So this is what it's looking like. It looks crazy right now, but they'll soften these edges. When it's finished, it'll look nice. So the reason I decided to break this up is, first of all, for cars to park here. This is, people park out here. I want them to be able to walk onto the sidewalk without any problems. Or my aunt who's disabled, I don't want her having to step over a curb if she comes to visit me, or anybody else who has physical limitations. I want to make sure they have a big open space that they can get out of the car and onto the sidewalk safely. But I still want my plants. So I'm going to plant all my plants in these pockets. And when it's done, it's going to look nice. It looks super modern compared to everything else I've used, which looks more like traditional. The stone I have is more like traditional or whatever. So you have this modern, and then you have this old, the sidewalk, that's the cities, and then my walkway, which looks kind of weird. Like the transition is does not, I'm not happy with that, but like I said, I'm stuck with it right now. So, and I don't think I'm going to change it. So I'm just going to work with what I got. I'm going to try to age this a little bit, dirty it up and cover up and soften the edges, and it'll flow a little better. But honestly, those big stepping stones work well for the public, like for people coming out. There's not a lot of ridges. It's not a lot of weeding. So yeah, but whatever. I make decisions like that sometimes on a whim without really thinking it through, and then I regret it later. But I was thinking it too. I had all these inspiration photos that I got from like Pinterest and other places, and they all look natural and flowing. I'm like, how much is that gonna cost me? And if I do it myself, how much time do I really have to do all that myself? In the meantime, I have this nasty looking hell strip that I'm not happy about, but there they go working, and I have a lot of work to do out here. I'm a little embarrassed about it, but whatever, it is what it is. I'm gonna call the guys to mow the lawn, and at some point I'm gonna clean up those pots, and then I'm going to today is Friday, so I have to fertilize my plants. And look who's waiting for me. My Stinky. Hi, Mama. Hi, Mama. She's 16. Yes. She's deaf. She's blind. She's missing teeth. She's a hot mess. She's stinky. She's always itchy. She has issues with her ears, skin issues. She has some medical issues. We're not sure what they are because it costs like an arm and a leg to get an MRI. But she's still hanging in there. She's still eating. Good. Stubborn as always. This is my Roxy girl. Yeah, baby. All right, so that's it for today. Hasta luego. Good morning. Buenos dias. It is the next day. I'm recording this. Yesterday they started the work. It was Friday, May 29th, and today is Saturday, May 20th. So I figured that I would record a little bit of what I'm doing here. So they finished the work. They put in these pavers for me. Like I said, it's not aesthetically that pleasing, but it is what it is. And it's, as far as utility is concerned, it does its job, right? So this is work on my hell strip. They call this hell strip, devil strip, sidewalk strip. And I just didn't want grass lawn in here anymore because it's a pain to water. I don't water it and it just looks terrible all the time. So anyway, I decided to formally make this garden beds, and I started with this little patch here to see what plants survive. And these have been in this little spot, I would say maybe 2 years. And here we have blue rug juniper, blue star juniper, Artemisia, silver mound Artemisia. I just planted this hardy salvia, and that is, I thought it was an arborvitae, but I don't think that's an arborvitae. But anyways, it looks like fire starter or whatever, arborvitae. It might be arborvitae. So this so far, the one that's done the worst is the arborvitae. And so I'm planning to do more of that type of evergreen ground cover in these spaces in between the pavers to soften these edges. The guys came, they did a pretty good job. So in my town, we don't have curb. So that is why we don't have a curb. We have the dirt right goes into the ground. So it's sort of challenging in keeping weeds at bay. I mean, my neighbors sort of pile up their grass high on the edges. You can see across the street. And that's the way they do it. The people who keep their lawns nice, just, sort of, have really high grass. And that's or in the wind. Let me see that cover. So anyway, yeah. So what I'm doing here is I'm creating garden beds by edging with that hair. The sides, I did it on this one. That's the finished one. I have to stick the edger in between the sidewalk and the ground and create this ledge. And then when I do it all the way around, except here because this is all cement in here. Do it all the way around. When I'm done, I amend the soil because that's all clay. Let me show you the see of this soil here. There's some, it's all clay. It's clay soil. Okay. And a little bit rocky, but it has enough rocks that it drains enough, and the plants really don't do terrible. I'm mending the soil with this raised garden bed mix from Miracle Grow Organic Choice Raised Garden Bed ground soil. And then I'm putting, it's so windy, I'm sure this is going to sound terrible. Then I'm putting the mulch here, and this is regular mulch from the big box store. You know, that black mulch, which I usually order. I have really good service here that they deliver, you know, triple shredded mulch, and they have, you know, mushroom compost, all that good stuff. But I save that for my garden beds. I'm not going to do that here. It's just a sidewalk, and it's fine. I have to remulch these here. So again, the plan is to try to incorporate as many natives as possible. On this side of the left side of the bed, I have the Little Devil 9 bark, which are native. These are dwarf, and dwarf means they get about 5 to 6 feet tall, about 4 feet wide, 3 to 4 feet wide. So that's dwarf. And then these are not. These are butterscotch euonymus. I'm surprised the deer don't chomp on these, but sometimes they try to get at them. But these have been here forever, and they barely grow. I like the color contrast. I just don't like the size. So I'm thinking about replacing these with native inkberry holly. These are the lavender. I usually have lavender lined up here, and I've had it like that for about 5 years, but they've died out, all except a few. So I don't know if I'm going to replace the lavender. There's one. Or if I'm just going to choose a different plant, or do just annuals in their place. Here we go. That's more the scene. You know, usually that's what this looks like. And I might have a couple of annuals here and there. And in the spring I have bulbs. Yep, and this is spirea. These are proven winners, spirea. I had them trimmed, so they look kind of wonky, but they recover pretty quickly. This is, I think, Razzle Dazzle, something like that. Anyway, this is a little tiny dwarf butterfly bush, which is not native, but it really doesn't do much there. I don't even know if it's going to survive, but I like this plant as well. I'm trying to get more of this for that hell strip. So that's what I'm going for. And then we have these, this is a right plant for right place, except that it gets huge, so it's really not the right place. So I have to constantly cut it back. And this is the gold thread. No, not gold thread. This is a gold juniper, but it gets really huge. I have the same ones in my backyard, and they're humongous, and I always have to cut them back. And here we have Veronica and penstemon, phlox, lamb's ear, and lemon lime landina, with this blue point juniper, which I've never trimmed, which maybe I will shape up this coming year. So yeah, this is the Proven Winners. I forget the name of it, but it's a Proven Winners brand, you know, cultivar. So yeah, so this is what I'm doing here, and hopefully, and I'll plant some flowers as well. I don't know if I want to keep, I had a Tony Aster. I don't know if I want to keep it here, but I think I'm going to plant a native St. John's wort. I want to put some here. I have a little blue stem, and I want to do a Joe Pye and little blue stem here with some little perennial flowering something or the other. You know, maybe a purple echinacea or something. I don't know. So, yeah. So this is the plan. And let me just... I'm going to have to patch together these videos. I don't really know how to do this stuff. But anyway, let me try to record myself making that edge. Let me see if I can do this one-handed. This is kind of tight in here. So you're supposed to stick this... I don't know. I'm not doing a good job with one hand. But anyway, and then you pop it up. Let me see. Maybe if I do it here. Okay, so you push it down into the ground, and then you tilt it, and then you sort of push over the dirt, the soil over. You gotta push down hard. It's hard to do with one hand. So I'm just doing this all throughout. And then I turn the shovel around, or the edger, and I scrape off the dirt. The reason I do this is to try to get as much weed seeds, and make a nice fine edge here with the dirt. So I'm going to do that all throughout, and then I amend the soil with this in-ground soil. I would put compost here too. I have some, I don't know, like really good quality compost. I might just put it in as I put in the plants. That's what I'm going to do. I'll save myself some money that way. And then I put the mulch. So the end result should look like this. And here I use this metal edger. I put this metal edger here. Oops. There we go. I got it from an online company, Vevor. And they have really good prices on products. Vevor, V-E-V-O-R. And they just deliver, they have great prices. So I ordered from them, and it's a good idea. The problem is, this is a public sidewalk, so I don't want anybody tripping here or falling and hurting themselves against this edge. So I'm gonna remove it. I had started putting it in. You have to hammer it in. It looks like this. I'm actually gonna take it out. So it just goes in like this. I hate doing things one-handed. I don't have arthritis, just so y'all know. I have arthritis everywhere. So once I stop moving, I'm just completely stiff and I can't move anymore. So I try to keep moving, especially in the mornings. So this is what it looks like, and you just push it into the ground. You can put a wood piece here and then hammer it in to not damage this. You put wood, and it's really easy. And then they have these joiners that you put over here, and they bend slightly. These bend, so you can bend them around corners. But anyways, I'm going to take these out just because I think it may be a little dangerous, Anyway, so that's it for that part. I think I'm going to never show my messy garage. You see my messy garage? That's my messy garage. This is what I use I have a couple places I use as a shed. My garage, which I used to keep a car in here. This is like one of these small capes. I hate doing things one-handed. This is terrible. Anyways, I'll organize it later. This is an old cape. This house, I think, was built in the mid-1950s. And so, it has space for a tiny car. I used to keep my mom's car in there, but now so I think I have to go the other way around. I think I locked myself out from the other side. But anyways, they put in these pavers and they seeded. It is almost summer, so I don't know how well the seed is going to do, but it's better than nothing. And they put the hay on top of the seed so to keep it from the birds and from blowing away. Let me see if I could push through. Okay, I did push through. Okay. So this is the rest of it. So basically from my driveway to my backyard, I have these new stepping stones. It's just going to be lawn around them. I was going to do like steppables and get all fancy, maybe in the future. But for now, it's just easier to mow over everything. It's just, like I said, to make it easier to come in and out of here. And want to see my other mess? Ta-da! Those are last year's tomatoes that still haven't come out of the pots. I actually cleaned this up a little bit, believe it or not. And those pots need to be washed up. I'll do that tomorrow. I have plans tonight, so I'm not going to do much back here today. Tomorrow, Sunday, I'll do some work back here, cleaning up. And there's my cotoneaster that we pulled out of the ground. I don't know if I'm going to put her back. She did fine. I mean, the snow and everything. Only thing I have to cut her back. She can't be too big. But I might just put her back in that hell strip. Contemplating it. Yep. Those are other projects we're not going to talk about. we're not gonna talk about Bruno over there. That is, I want to do raised beds. I think I did it in the last video. I don't remember. Anyways, when I patched this up, probably repeating myself, probably gave the, oh, I did give the wrong name of one of the plants. And it was this one. This is, I got this from Spring Hill Nursery. And this is Onyx and Pearls Penstemon. It is not Onyx and Lace. It is Onyx and Pearls Penstemon. Look how beautiful. Look at that color. Okay, oh, and look at my baby tree. I started that tree from bare root. It was just a couple of squiggly roots that my dad and I put in a pot. Look how pretty it looks. That is a native. It is, I got it from, I think it might be New Jersey Native Society or some sort of New Jersey government agency, that gives out bare root plants. And so we went to, they were just giving them out. I had 3, and this one is the only one that survived all the way because I planted the other 2 in the wrong place. But this is a dogwood. It's a white flowering dogwood, which is native to New Jersey. Yes, or at least to this part of the country. Yeah, so doing my part to make this world just a little bit better. All right, see y'all later. Hasta luego. Okay, I said hasta luego, but I forgot that I did. It's not hasta luego. I forgot to show this section that I worked on a few weeks ago. So this is also between 2 driveways, and I with my neighbor, and I had 5 of these. These are miscanthus. These are zebra grass. There's also supposed to be a dwarf, 6 feet tall, but it is dwarf miscanthus. And I cut her back late, so I don't know how she's gonna look, but there is a cut back. And then I planted a couple of hydrangeas, 2 boxwoods, and some annual flowers for now. In this section here, so that my neighbor can get into his truck without having to battle the grasses. And then this section here, I don't know why I left this like this, but I'm thinking of taking this guy out. This is another blue rug juniper. It doesn't look like it's doing well. I'm thinking of cutting it back hard and planting it in the hair strip and putting the cotoneaster here. I also planted these. I think are awesome. This is a sea thrift, and this is another. I think these are both natives. I lost the tags. Yeah, so this is also what I did. I'm trying to plant some grass here. I have clover. So that's what I did here. I took back. It looked beautiful with the 5. I had 5 of these grasses. It looked really nice. It swayed in the wind, but it was really annoying to my neighbor, and I understand. So, trying to be a good neighbor in addition to taking care of the earth. Trying to be a good neighbor. All right. So, yeah, I gotta clean this back. Oh my God! Look at that. The peonies. There's some yarrow that sells seeds. I never planted that there. That's native. So yarrow, I think, is also native. And this is your native violets. This is not native. This is a euonymus. This is a wintergreen, winter creeper, which I have to cut back. I have some clematis growing on these. I wanted to do roses, but I got some, I had drift roses down here, and I got some rosette. There goes the clematis. And this one I planted this year, but it didn't flower. This is a bowl of beauty. And some more of this, I moved this lamb's ear from the front of the house. It's okay for it to spread here, but it's kind of a spreader. Or this is Tixie. This is also one native. And this was a tiny little plot. And look what's happened in the last 4 or 5 years. This is what's happened. It just spreads by itself. I let it. It looks pretty. I have to balance out that's an old, that bird bath came with the house. And so now I just got to balance it because this is on a slope. So I just got to put something here to rise it up and make it nice and balanced. Maybe put a little sprinkler there. That's for the birdies and the bees. All right, so now it's really hasta luego. And all the grasses are flying around. Look what's flowering. That's the lambs flowering. Isn't that pretty? Okay, hasta luego. I don't know when I'm going to repost again. I don't even know when I'm going to post these videos because I have to edit them and patch them together. I have to figure that out. But thanks for listening, whoever's listening, and to my familia who I do this for. I miss you all. I wish you were close by so I could put you to work in my yard with me. Bueno. Have a great weekend. Have a great month if I don't see you in a month. Adios. Stage 1. Stage 2 amended with compost type soil. And stage 3 with the mulch completed. This is probably stage 4 with planting. With the edges edged.